You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and
After a long and painful 14 years of lying dormant after Final Destination 5, one day, out of nowhere, we got Final Destination Bloodlines. While I couldn't help a bit of excitement at seeing the series return, I was pretty skeptical. The filmmaking duo directing it were also behind Leprechaun Origins, the worst movie in a franchise largely composed of bad movies, Dead Rising Watchtower, which is also extremely bad, and a live-action Kim Possible movie for the Disney Channel. Now, I didn't see this one, but I have my doubts. Then I watched it, and honestly, it's topped Final Destination 5. It's perfect. There was always an inherent silliness to the franchise, the tension scenes often playing out as elaborate Rube Goldberg setups to violent punchlines. Embracing that, going so far over the top and playing into the comedy with a cast of likable, goofy idiots, while more overtly playing into the dark comedy aspect, was a brilliant move that honestly makes this such a fun time. The movie starts with lore, but in a way that's essentially a farce. A new bar, restaurant, dance club at the top of a Space Needle-esque building in 1969 becomes the site of a cosmic and comic disaster. A stupid brat is throwing pennies off the roof, jamming a mechanism in the ventilation, destroying the elevator, the glass dance floor shatters, and an old lady sets herself on fire, causing the whole structure to explode. But not in any sort of simple way. The penny makes its way around the whole building, causing havoc, down to being the back-breaking straw on a piano that crushes a woman and then falls onto the little brat who escaped the tower in a straight-up Looney Tunes gag. The entire building splits in half, and Iris, the premonitioner, only barely saves herself from dangling by her ring finger before her skin is peeled off like an apple and she falls to her death with a child that's later revealed to be Tony Todd. It's a hell of an opening that feels impossible to beat, but honestly, the movie just keeps getting better and better. Each kill is a series of carefully set dominoes as before, but where past movies felt like a kid in his bedroom setting up 30 dominoes, this movie feels like those videos where someone builds the entire Eiffel Tower out of them, throwing so many little pieces of the puzzle around that you forget them until they inevitably come back, while teasing the most obvious in front of you the whole time, begging you to guess when things are finally going to pay off. The party scene feels like it takes a million years, as the drink with the giant shard of glass is passed around. Oh, did she drink it? Oh, he's gonna drink it. Is that the cup? And after all that teasing, the glass is a tiny piece of the crazy punchline, but nobody's drinking it this time. It's so much fun. It helps that we have some new tweaks to the formula. After an older Iris dies, her granddaughter Stephanie, who's been having premonitions of her own, works out what's going on. Death is working down her family tree to erase their mistaken existences as people who were never meant to be born. We know who's next. There is a very funny twist on that in the middle of the movie, but for the most part we know who's next. And that's another big reason the build-ups in this movie are so good, because you're always anticipating something to happen to the character who's coming up. There's also the movie's true star, Eric, played by Richard Harmon, a character so well loved he somehow earned a Wikipedia article of his own. One of Stephanie's cousins who hates everyone is a huge dick, but secretly cares just a little bit, with the best deaths in the series and some fantastic punchlines to go with them. His biting jokes and attitude are perhaps the movie's smartest element, perfectly pushing a movie so ridiculous that it's funny into being a full-blown comedy. I'm not sure a comedy relief character has ever worked this well, let alone did the heavy lifting of dragging a movie into being a completely different genre. There are some odds and ends worth mentioning. Is the whole crazy paranoid grandma plot element like a parody of the Halloween reboots? It's so suspiciously similar that it feels like it can't be a coincidence, but at the same time, there's not like commentary. Like the grandma Iris dies a lot sooner than Laurie does, who doesn't die, but it's weird that they did that twice. I think the MRI machine is basically the best kill in the franchise. I don't think many people would push back on that one. It's incredible. Also, I think the ending might be a touch weak. I don't mind the idea of the mom trying to lock herself in the safe house to protect the kids by hiding from death forever since he has to go in order. But after all the craziness to get there, we're ending on drowning in an RV in a shallow pond and a falling telephone pole after the MRI scene and the building exploding. I mean, it's not awful, and if you really think about it, it's the setup to the final punchline. And the final punchline is very good. I'm really glad they played into the meme with the logs. That was, honestly, Bloodline is and isn't exactly what you'd expect. The unexpected element is being really funny, but if you stare at it from a distance, it's also the familiar formula with just a few tiny twists. It's even further over the top with gore, and technology has allowed even relatively cheap movies like this whole franchise has been to look fairly professional. And while there are some kind of rough CGI backdrops, especially in the opening scene, it honestly probably looks better than any of these after the first movie, which itself had a different kind of low-budget, shot-on-film charm that none of the others had. It's quite easily the new best of the series, and that's a pretty high bar after 5, and I'm really excited to see if the series manages to keep the playfulness and silliness and pull it off as well as they did this time when it comes back in a couple years.